Hello everyone, my name is Suresh. Today we will look into the Google Cloud Skill Post for partners, and in this lab session we will look into exploratory data analysis using Bigquery and Colab. So let me start without any delay. And in this lab, I'm not going to explain the concepts or how this works. I'm just only going to complete the task that is provided in this lab. So this lab is approximately 2 hours, but we will complete as soon as possible. Okay, so I recommend you to go through all the concepts on your own with the various courses available on the internet. But the intention of this lab is only to complete the task provided. So without any delay, uh, so I have copied the cloud URL from here to the incognito version of the Chrome and just logging in. So this for this steps we call it as a preset. Click on agree. Should be good. Let's see the steps now. This is our setup environment, and at any point you can pause the video and go through the overview in this lab what we are planning to do. And there are some learning objectives about learning objectives which you can go through on this. You can pause the screen and go ahead. And I recommend you to learn each and every concept. What is Collab Enterprise, BigQuery, Pandas data frame, Seaborn plots, all other things that is provided in this. So that will take more than 2 hours to go through each and every aspect concept. Okay. So high level overview is already provided over here. So you can pause the video and go through this without any delays. You can see what it says. So it's two notebook. One is Collab Enterprise and another one is Workbench. Is what we are talking about here. So this is the steps what we did now. So we opened the incognito mode, started the lab, copied the console. We have put it in the right side. Now let's do the setup here. Enable vertex and navigate to vertex AI section. Okay, get a vertex here from the navigation menu. Here, enable all recommended gateways. This is the first setup we will do. Close the tutorial here. Task one is done. And see the notification. All this is got enabled. Just this is the first step. So let's move on to the task two. Vertex AI. Install to Collab notebooks. Collab Enterprise. So notebook section and Collab Enterprise. Let's wait for this page. Okay. The region. So any quick actions. Okay. The quick actions on create notebook. But here I don't see any region over here. But they are saying in the region, select the region US West one where you can create a notebook. But I created a notebook which is by the default it is having a student ID and then connecting. So let's continue with this. Can you open create a runtime, recall the runtime service? Let me see whether I already have the notebook. Yeah, this is just now we have created. So close this. I wanted to delete this and create a new notebook. And here, once you navigate to this, and you can select My Notebooks. From the My Notebooks, you have to select US West one on OK, and here create Collab Enterprise runtime templates. The UI is got changed, I believe. So to create a, you need to first create a runtime template. So I have selected the runtime template, create in US West one region. Let's do it with the create runtime template. Okay, so now I have a display name, US West one description. Let's just simply say run lab, or I'll say lab run complete with some description as lab complete figure to standard. Standard is 100 disk, and then compare it with the left side. Google managed encryption keys and ideal shutdown of about 180 minutes. That is 3 hours. We continue here. Yeah, you can see the blue tick mark here. Here also we have already seen that. Let me continue. Network security selected is network to enable public internet access enabling it. Now click on it. Now run code in the Collab Enterprise notebook. In this example, in my notebooks, selected code and the notebook and copying this code. This is an NumPy code with a matplotlib and random numbers, and it's a sample visualization where it is going to show us some graph. Paste it over here, connect to runtime, testing runtime, comes to display. We create a new runtime. Let's see. Let's not do this. So let me directly without connecting, let's try to run this code. So I'm just selecting the run. Let's see what happens. As you execute the cell, this is a complete thing. Select the student ID. Okay, failed to execute, not find error. So let's try. It is trying to connect. Now we can see it here. Let's see how this is connected. My question is, where did it tag this connection? My question is how this is going to connect with the runtime machine. Okay, student runtime is connecting with the existing. By default, runtime lab render. I don't think we need this. Okay. Okay. So by default, the student is getting connected. Step step two, provide the basic information. This is the step two of configuration and the network security. This is completely new UI for me, so that is the reason I'm taking some time on this. But here, I don't think we need this one. Let's see whether we can disconnect it. If you see, but by default, student runtime has been selected and all this has been equal. Let's try to connect this. Wait for the, okay. This is what it is showing. Okay, you can see runtime is active. The expiration 17 hours. What's this? Okay, now the lab is connected. You can see it over here. Let's run this. Authorization as we did this step earlier. So without any issues, it got created. Now let's make some changes. Change the title of the plot stem to collab and okay, shift enter using shift enter here, or else you can use a run command here. Okay. Now one of the most important feature. Now step task 3 is completed. Let's go for task 4. Go to the notebook storage section. System. See the revision history. In my notebooks has been navigated in the my notebooks. There is only one notebook here, and in the actions, we select for the revision history. You can see two cells. So what the changes has been done and what time it has been done. This is what it represents. I think this is completely different UI, but the steps has been the same. The lab is having a older version, I guess. That's what I'm seeing here. Now to add a code menu, simply click on the code text in menu bar. Okay, let's go back to my notes. Open. Okay, open this. This is going to open it here. Go back to the notepad. Click on the notebook. That's what we did. Rerun the first code again. Okay, let me rerun the first code again. Add a code cell. Okay, let me add a new code cell. It is from the select second code, paste, shift enter. Okay, there are no issues. There should be no output shown. So there are no output and there are no errors. Insert the following code as a cell to import as necessary modules and initialize. The query will be used to send and receive. So let me copy this code again, put it over here. This is actually connecting to the BigQuery. From there, it is connecting to the data frame. And I will leave it for you guys to go through this statement. Without this, I'm just going to execute the code in the next one. So basically, what it is doing is like it is changing from the BigQuery to the data frame, and it is going to print out some information for us. So you can see it to query executed for almost seconds. Let's wait for the query to complete. And This is going to get the data from the BigQuery public data Catalonian mobile coverage Europe EU, and the mobile data is between 2015 to 2017. And you can see the job progresses and the download. Actually, this is getting the data from the BigQuery to the data frame. Download is done. Let me wait for this kernel to complete. And with this command, yeah, it took 44 seconds. You can see it over here from kernel. I can type it over here. Now you can see the top five rows. Same dev.info. So we are getting some information about 17 post reports, and we will describe some of the data frame. So these are all the basic data frame information we will gather when we are doing the EDA, that means exploratory data analysis. Now let's do the plotted correlation using Seaborn. So in Seaborn, I think you need to learn, but I'm just executing with the task that is provided with us. Basically, what it is doing is in the data frame, you are selecting data types, including the NP numbers, and we are seeing the correlation matrix. Basically, this is the heat map, bit annotation tool. Okay. So in next data frame 2, we are going to select a specific fields, signal and status. Let's do the same thing here. Same, and we are df2 dot head. Now we get some we got some information about signal and status. Okay. Next, right click on the notebook again. We go to the collab and press section. By default, it would get closed because I don't see any start over here. You can check how to close. Directly you can close, but there are no actions or unsaved data is here. So you can directly close it over. Okay. And you can see the time as well. It will be created and updated. Now to share, we select the actions here. Share. Let's see how this is behaving. Share permissions. Student. This is a complete UI change. At this point, I'm not sure this, but I think I have some restricted access on sharing. Click on advanced sphere sharing. Yes, this is where it is. Okay. Once I click on the advanced sharing, grant new access. Okay, let me do this. We did this. I click share permission, which will allow to edit permission. Select add. It's called to grant access. It's full access. You can also add roles to specific which actions. Okay, optionally you can add. Okay, at this point, that means you can add a principal and then create a role for it, and then for share it to the person or the people who want to share this. So this gives you the complete control on the control access. So you will have a complete control on whom can read this document and do some changes or executions. Okay. So to see the let's see the revision. Actually, we are completed with the notes. So let's see the revision. You can see the revision with all the information, like what was the text, uh, what was the code executed, and what is the output of this. See it over. Okay, so based on the last update, this is the last code we have changed. Let's see the executions tab. So I'm not looking into the lab. I'm just looking into the some other options. What are the options that is? That's schedule. I don't see anything in the executions. I think it will take some time for executions. So now we have this shared with me runtimes. Okay, there is only one runtime. If I select filter out this, there will be two runtimes, I guess. We refresh, I remove the filter. Okay, runtime template. So template is created. I don't know this template is created by mistake. Okay, this runtime which was created during the notebook creation. So let me go through once again. The 2 hour session I just completed in just 20 minutes, but don't worry. But all the heavy work you have to do it. I have done only the task provided with us, but you can pause the video and go through the learning objectives. Definitely, you have to drill down a lot of things over here at your own time. This is just to give an impression of how the lab can be completed with the information provided. Simple. So we have seen about enterprise and in the quick lab setup. Basically, we enabled all recommended APIs, selected the Colab enterprise, created a notebook. I think the UI is a little bit different than the previous version, but we were able to manage the notebook. So we navigated to the notebooks. The notebooks, we created a new notebook, and we it was asked to create a template, but it was never used. The template was by default it got created. I think when I click on continue and without giving the names, I think that by default it is going to uh, take the default user runtime, I guess. Okay. Let me try out one thing. Let me delete this time and rerun this one. Let's see what it does. I'll go into the runtime template. Let me delete this as well. Let me play around a little bit. Okay, I have deleted everything, but I still have the notebook with me. I didn't delete the notebook. Okay, let me go to the runtime template. Okay, step 2 and step 3 and optional. Okay, what I will do is create a runtime template. Okay, click on new, create a runtime template. I'm not giving any description, nothing. Just I'll click on continue. Oh, for continue, it is going to ask the information. But here they didn't mention anything about here. Let me save it as default. Continue. No changes. Continue. No changes. Is what I'm doing here. Okay, I think this is the default network. Let me go back to my notebooks. Let me open it and try to execute this. Let's see what exactly happens here. Just let me clear all outputs. And I didn't mention which one to connect. Let's see whether this is creating a new template. Okay, creating runtime. This may take few minutes. Okay, wait. Once this connecting is successful, then let me saving is done. Okay, runtime is active. Initiated connection will have an authorized to before executing. So let me do one thing. Let me do run on. Let's see how this behaves. You can see in the bottom connecting to the student default machine type and region as US West 1. Here I wanted to change, see the change as a RAM and CPU usage. So that is the first indication. This is successfully connected, and rest of it is easy, I guess. Let me do it for the second time. I'm sorry, actually, this session got a little bit extended because I messed up in the task two. So I just wanted to make sure I don't want to miss anything. Task one, task two is done. Task three and all, we have already done it. We are just going to execute. And all the divisions we always see. Okay, this is longer, taking longer than expected. I think this is time to push to that. Disconnecting. Check in enterprise. Is healthy for and templates. It is still correct. Hmm. This is the default name which I selected earlier. Uh, check it out. We have, yeah, you can see this is 8:20 p.m. and this is about 8:21. Actually, by default, the second step is I don't think it is getting repeated. Okay. So I'm not sure whether this is the right approach or this is the bug or the steps which is provided to me is wrong. But anyway, the process doesn't change. You can have a quick look. By default, this is it is taken. So let's see whether this is executed. I'm able to connect to the runtime. Okay. Now I think the runtime is set to expire. Fine. But still, this is still connecting. Let me navigate to this page. Delete the one that I created. This is the default ID. This was generated during the runtime. So runtime is also a default. You can see this as healthy and created at 8:21:04. Okay, check this. Surprised to see this is being delayed. Okay, I don't want to spend more time on this. I think this is some glitch or something. It's not allowing me to change anything here. So basically, this is Google Manage everything is Google managed and connected healthy. Still, it is not allowing me to confirm. So thank you everyone for the joining. But you can see the steps. These are all the basic steps that we have followed to complete the task. It is still saying unable to connect to the runtime. I don't know what the glitch or the error. So I'm not getting into the details at this point, but these are all the steps that we will follow. Uh, successful run during the first instance. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a great day. Bye.